everybody. I'm Miss Hayden, and welcome to Virtual Storytime here at the Bartlesville Public Library. I think everybody remembers how we start, so please join me. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? How are you today? I hope everybody's good. It's finally cooled off. Yay! It's nice outside. Well, we are going to read a couple of stories, and like normal, the viola is over there waiting for me to play when we do songs in between our stories. Well, let's get going because these stories are a little on the long side. So, first one, the Tossy-Turny Princess and the Pesky Pea. And it is by Susan Baird, and Jay Fleck did the pictures. Once upon a time, there was a princess who loved to sleep. It helped that her bed was piled high with the softest mattresses, the coziest blankets, and the fluffiest pillows. But what the princess loved most about sleeping was it gave her the energy she needed to go through her day with joy and attention. This was important because the princess had a very busy schedule. Her first stop in the morning was always the garden. She loved to help, she loved to help the royal gardener pull weeds, smell flowers, watch tiny creatures scuttle around in the grass, and of course try new vegetables. Her favorites were the peas. Then she visited the royal chef in the kitchen. The royal chef always let the princess help her with the baking and cooking. The princess was a pro at whisking eggs and tasting sweet desserts. Next, the princess stopped by the library. The royal librarian always knew the perfect book to share with her. Sometimes he read out loud, and the princess hung on every word, asking questions when she didn't understand. And when the sun set, the princess visited the royal astronomer. Together, they climbed the highest tree to get a look at the stars in the night sky. The astronomer would tell her about the planets, the constellations, and the meaning behind each flickering light. At the end of such a long and wonderful day, you can imagine that the princess was ready to sleep so she could do it all again in the morning. But tonight, there was a problem. You see, earlier in the day while the princess was out, the prince was poking around in her room to borrow his favorite book of fairy tales. At the same time, he was eating his lunch, a big bowl of fresh pea soup. Suddenly, one of the big fresh peas rolled off of his spoon and fell right in between the princess's mattresses. Uh-oh. The prince tried to reach it, but it had rolled too far in. So he left the pea, figuring the princess would never notice anyway. Oh, how he was wrong. That night, the princess got ready for bed, excited to hit the hay. She climbed atop her many mattresses, got under her soft sheets and cozy blankets, and laid her head on her fluffy pillow. But she didn't feel right. She felt uneven, out of sorts, off balance, as if something was poking her. She tossed and turned and tried to get comfortable, but nothing was working. So she flipped and fluffed, searching for whatever it was that was keeping her awake. But she found nothing. That pea was hidden too well. Now the princess was wide awake, and she stayed that way all night long. The next day, nothing went right. The princess was cranky and clumsy, and she found herself dozing off in all sorts of places. That night was even worse. Her head was filled with worries. What if she felt the same thing poking her? What if she was up all night? What if she couldn't bake or garden or do any of the things she loved because she was too tired? What if she could never sleep again? And once more, she was up all night. The next morning, she wearily went to visit the garden and promptly laid her head on the cool soil. The royal gardener asked, "What's wrong, princess? I can't seem to fall asleep at night." "You know," he replied, "when I have trouble sleeping, I make my body into the shape of the lizards I see in the garden. That always makes me sleepy." In the kitchen, the princess dozed off while she was in the middle of whisking some delicious icing. The royal chef asked, "What's wrong, princess?" "I can't seem to fall asleep at night." "You know," she replied, "when I have trouble sleeping, I breathe in and out slowly through my nose, like I'm smelling the most delicious cookies coming out of the oven. That gets my energy out and makes me sleepy." The princess managed to get herself to the library, but she fell asleep with her face in a book. "What's wrong, princess?" asked the royal librarian. "I can't seem to sleep at night. I can't seem to fall asleep at night." "You know," he replied, "when I have trouble sleeping, I flip onto my back and put my legs up against the bookshelves like this. It makes me very drowsy." By the time she reached a climbing tree, the princess was so exhausted she could only sit and lean against it. The royal astronomer sat on the ground next to her. "It seems you're having trouble sleeping, princess. When that happens to me, I like to lie down, let my whole body relax, and look up at the sky. Then I place each of my worries on a star until, with every sparkle, they disappear. This helps my mind get quiet to make room for dreams." That night, when the princess found herself wide awake once again, she remembered what her royal friends had shared that day. It seemed they had all had trouble sleeping sometimes. It felt a little better to know she wasn't the only one. And they each did something special that helped. The princess thought if maybe she did what they did, it might help her too. So she got out of bed and she stretched like the lizards in the garden until her legs felt longer and the wiggles started to leave her body. This made the princess feel calmer and a little more still. Next, the princess breathed in deeply through her nose, pretending to smell her favorite cookies like the royal chef. Soon she was feeling warm and peaceful. Then, thinking of the librarian, the princess lay down on her back and leaned her legs up against the wall. It was so nice. She began to feel heavy and drowsy. Soon the princess was sleepy enough to get into her bed. She climbed to the top of her stack of soft mattresses, got under her cozy blankets, and put her head on her fluffy pillows. She waited for that uncomfortable feeling to come back, but surprisingly, her body felt good and relaxed. It was her mind that was still filled with worries. What if she still couldn't sleep? What if she was too tired the next day? What if? Then the princess remembered what the astronomer had told her. Looking out her window, she saw the stars twinkling in the dark. She named all her worries and sent each one to a star. With every twinkle, she imagined her worries disappearing into the night sky. Before she knew it, the princess was sound asleep. The next morning, the princess awoke fresh faced and full of energy. She couldn't wait to visit her friends and tell them how they had helped. But as she climbed down from her bed, a large pea rolled out from between her mattress and fell to the floor. The prince, who had come to return her book, was standing in the doorway with a sheepish grin. Oops, I think that was mine. But the princess wasn't angry. In fact, she realized it was the pea that had kept her awake. But it was also the pea that, along with her royal friends, had helped her learn how to fall asleep, even when she didn't think she could. The princess gently picked up the pea and placed it in a very special spot right next to her bed. When she saw it each night, she would remember that even when things didn't feel right, when her mind was worrying and her body was wiggling, she knew just what to do. And that night, in celebration and in thanks, the princess threw a royal pajama party. Everyone practiced their nighttime poses and let go all of their worries. And the prince served each guest a big bowl of fresh pea soup. That's the end. That was the tossy-turny princess and the pesky pea. Time for songs. And of course, like normal, we always do Twinkle. Let me grab my favorite wooden box over here. And I think we should sing Twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Very good. And I think we should do Wheels on the Bus next. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. Viola has a mind of its own this morning. Very good. And we have to sing If You're Happy and You Know It. Okay. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Sorry, guys. Okay. My sheet music has a mind of its own. I think we should do ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Very good. Okay, we're done with songs. Let's do our second story. Okay. Hey. So it is October. So our second book is The Scariest Book Ever by Bob Shea. Boo! I'm a spooky ghost. Scary, right? Speaking of scary, did you see those dark woods a few pages back? They're probably crawling with hungry monsters with smelly breath, sharp fangs, and pointy claws. I sure can't wait to find out. Hope I don't spill this orange juice on my nice white. And those are the woods he's talking about. The ghost. Whoops! Well, would you look at that? I'm so clumsy. Now I have nothing to wear. I guess you'll have to go into the scary dark woods without me. You can go check them out, and I'll meet you in a couple of pages. Well, what did you see? A dark hole? Nothing good ever comes out of a dark hole. It's okay, you don't have to go back. You can stay here and help me with the haunted housework. We'll tell spooky stories and clean the bathroom. That's scary, right? Well, what came out of the hole? Something scary, I bet. Snakes made out of bees? A spider in a crabby mood? Broccoli? Wait, what? A bunny? No way! Are you trying to trick me so I go into the woods and get scared? Well, things are pretty scary around here. See? A kitty drinking milk. Maybe it's the kind of kitty that doesn't like hugs. That's scary. Hey, where are you going? Okay, tell me what you just saw. No, don't tell me. Okay, tell me. No, don't. Whimsical woodland creatures, invitations to a party. Nice try. What's next? Pumpkin picking in a pumpkin patch? Don't leave. I got us donuts. Spooky donuts. Oh, I'm not being spooky. I just have a bellyache. So what was it this time? A damp basement full of rats? A mean big kid? Their word moist? Pumpkin picking? The thing I said a couple of pages ago? That's the best you could do? Give me a break. You think I died yesterday? I'm not falling for that. I'm staying right here. Now see what you did? You scared the cat with your crazy stories. Look at her. She's terrified. Can't you just stay here on this page, to comfort the cat? You're back. Are you okay? I didn't hear any screaming. What did you see? Crafts and cupcakes? Really? I'm starting to think the woods aren't that scary after all. Okay, I guess I could pop by for a minute, to save you from the cupcakes. I mean, the super scary monsters. Ah! What was that? Why didn't you warn me? Are you trying to scare me more to death? What now? Costumes? Party? You sure? Okay, Kitty, but you go first. Oh, ha ha ha. Very funny. I wasn't scared. I knew it was you guys the whole time. No one loves a good costume party more than a naked ghost. That was the end. That was the scariest book ever. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those books. We do virtual story time every Monday at 11 a.m. So I will see you guys next week. But I also don't want to forget to let you know that we do in-person story time every Wednesday and Thursday, both days 10 and 11 a.m. So I will see you guys later this week and next week. Have a good week. Bye.